Request for this movie seems to always be swinging into the comments. So I feel like today you and I are going to be stuck in this movie. Let's go under the mask to find everything you missed in the only spider on Earth that we can all agree to not squish. Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man does whatever Spider can. Spider-Man is torn between two companies for ownership, with Marvel on one side and Sony on the other. And poor Spidey is caught in the middle, just trying to hold the franchises all together. The first shall be last, and the last shall be first, so we will save Stan Lee's cameo for last and start with Aunt May. Let's get Aunt May out of the way first, since they kept changing this character like a pair of socks. One moment she's sweet old Aunt May, then all of a sudden she's hot young Aunt May.
Hey May, how you doing? What are you wearing? Something skimpy, I hope. Forget that's inappropriate.
For this one, you need to check out the rust bucket that Aunt May is driving. More specifically, look at the license plate, AMF 1562. This is an Easter egg referencing to Aunt May's first appearance in the comics. That took place in the Amazing Fantasy number 15, and that comic was released in the year 1962. Here's another license plate reference though. In the ferry boat scene, we have a car with the license plate HTD003. Howard the Duck and Aunt May had a collaboration in the comic of Howard the Duck number 3. Howard the Duck, if you want to call that a collaboration, but more specifically, Aunt May robbed Howard the Duck at gunpoint. Another phrase that was referenced was the first Spider-Man, the best Spider-Man, when Vulture makes a reference to pro wrestling.
Calling yourself the Shocker. I'm the Shocker. I shock people. What is this, pro wrestling?
This is a call out to the first Spider-Man because when he first got his powers, he too was into wrestling to make money. Then, going back to the very first Spider-Man, in the comics we have to travel to Amazing Fantasy number 15, where Spider-Man tries out his new powers in pro wrestling. So while we're here, you know this guy is Vulture, and just in case you weren't aware, this guy is Tinker. And the first time that we see Tinker and Vulture together was in the Amazing Spider-Man number 2. That comic was also so old that it was released back in 1963. So watch this. On the boat, look at the license plate on the car behind good old Spidey, and you will see we have Spider-Man 2 in May, which is the 5th month of the year, and that was in 1963. Then if you look behind the DJ stand at the party, you will see a thumbs up button. Click it or Spider-Man will get you when you're sleeping. Another fun fact about the Vulture is on Adrian Toomes' van, in the beginning it reads Men Salvage. This is a reference to a business that Adrian Toomes was partnered with Gregory Bestman, and the business went great. They made so much money. That was of course until Gregory decided to rip off Adrian by saying they only made 5% profit when in reality they were making 50% profit. And then Adrian found out and was like a tad bit upset, so he permanently removed them from the company.
I can't afford that.
Let's fly around this boat for a second though. Check out this bad guy with a scorpion tattoo. That's because it's Mac Gargan, and Mac Gargan is the Scorpion. And the first time we ever saw Mac Gargan was in the Amazing Spider-Man number 19. And the first time we saw him as Scorpion was in the Amazing Spider-Man number 20. Now look at the van below the deck. Spider-Man 1920. If we browse all the other cars in the movie, you're gonna get stuck on an Easter egg in this car. This guy that's stuck on the car is Aaron Davis. Aaron Davis's first appearance was in the Ultimate Comics Spider-Man number 1. Check out the license plate. Ultimate Comics Spider-Man number 1. Get this though, Aaron Davis has a nephew, and if you watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, you know his nephew is Miles Morales, who becomes the next Spider-Man. Yes, Flash may be a little bit annoying, but Flash drives into the Easter egg world as well. Flash is a character in the comics and his name is Flash.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Stating the obvious here. But look at the car he drives. That's an Audi 2017 TTS. And here's a little thing about cars. When a car has the following equipment, only 2 seats, sporty looking, and no roof, it's classified as a spider. So just like how in the movie The Dark Knight, Bruce Wayne, or as we know him, Batman, he drove the Murcielago. Murcielago. That car, which is Spanish for bat. So even when he's not driving his Batmobile, he's still driving a bat car. And even though Spider-Man isn't driving the Spider-Mobile, yes, that's a thing, he's still driving a spider car. You're welcome.
I never said thank you.
And you'll never have to.
go ahead and hit that subscribe button because that one earned it. Plus, I'm trying to get to 500,000. Isn't that crazy? I'm not crazy, you're crazy. Calm down. Oh, look, Disney owns Marvel. Oh, and they also own Star Wars, but they don't own Spider-Man. Too soon? So they take the opportunity to advertise Palpatine and the Death Star.
Join me together. We'll build my new Lego Death Star.
What?
So be it, Jedi.
But in all fairness, Peter Parker is a die-hard fan of Star Wars. He also has an AT-AT walker in his bedroom, along with the model X-Wing Starfighter. Also, while we're here, allow me to direct your attention to the monitor over there. Here is an Easter egg, and maybe it's a secret future character we will see much more of.
Rise and shine, Midtown Science and Technology. I'm Betty Brandt.
And if you listen during our lecture, Betty mentions that the school mascot is a tiger.
Let's show on Tiger Pride. Go get him, Tigers.
Roar.
And MJ, the original MJ that Peter was obsessed with, always referenced to him as Tiger.
I better run, Tiger.
Betty also mentioned that the girls' basketball team was taking on the Flatbush Asgardians.
The girls' basketball team takes on the Flatbush Asgardians this Thursday night.
Asgardians.
I like it.
Speaking of Asgard, when Peter and Aunt May go out to eat at the Pyracaya Thai, that restaurant, if you look next door, you will see the official Korean church of Asgard. In the comics, Betty Brant was also J. Jameson's secretary. Remember him? Daily Bugle? The head of the company? Well, she will eventually in real life become his secretary and eventually a skilled reporter. If you read the comic The Amazing Spider-Man number 142, you will find out that not MJ, but Betty. Betty was Peter Parker's first love.
Students, don't forget about your homecoming tickets. Do you have a date for homecoming?
Thanks, Jason, but I already have a date.
Okay.
But what about me?
Now look in the classroom. You need to look at the famous scientists and mathematicians. Recognize that guy? That's our very own Bruce Banner. Also, this dry erase board has got to be the stupidest board I've ever seen. It looks cool in movies. Ooh, we can see through it. But good luck reading from the back of the classroom. Idiots. But wait, rewind, go back in the hallway. Look at this wall behind the drone kid. We have Tony's dad, Mr. Howard Stark, and we have Dr. Abraham Esquire. Remember him? He's the one that really kicked off the Marvel group, giving Captain America his strength with the vaccine. But you can't forget Principal Morita though. His grandfather, Private James Morita, or also known as Jim, served in World War II and fought alongside Captain America as one of the Howling Commandos. One of the famous artists who worked on the drawing side of Spider-Man was Mark Bagley. When Spidey's hanging out on the light pole, you can see graffiti on the building behind him that says Bagley. Tony Stark clearly has a father-son role going on with him and good old Spider-Man, but when Happy is taking Peter to see Tony Stark, you can see a giant globe in the background. That globe is the Unisphere, and it's from 1964's World Fair. We also see that it made an appearance back in Iron Man 2 at the Stark Expo in Flushing, New York. When Spidey is trying to keep himself entertained while waiting for that magical phone call from his not-so-dad of a dad, he stops a guy from breaking into his own car. We get a moment here to see the legend himself, Stan Lee, up in the window.
Don't make me come down there, you punk.
Hey, Gary! How you doing?
Marjorie, how are you? How's your mother?
Then when he returns to the scene of the crime, if you look in the corner here, you will see a blue sign that reads Kravinoff Exotic. Well, you may know him as Kraven the Hunter.
I am never gonna financially recover from this.
Spider-Man is torn between two companies of ownership, with Marvel on one side and Sony on the other.
Yeah, so don't try to act so innocent. You can take that fake apology and shove it right up your hairy...
They just get along because they have to share custody of SpiderMan Technology. Speaking of technology, how is it that a high schooler can remove a tracking chip from a billion-dollar suit or disable Peter's training wheels when the technology was built by Tony Stark? I don't think so. Survey time! So what do you think? Is it crazy to think that a high schooler can remove a tracking chip from a suit that Tony Stark built? Or better yet, disable the training wheels? But also recognize the voice of Karen. Not that Karen. This Karen.
I think I should probably give you my name.
You can call me Karen.
She's voiced by none other than Jennifer Connelly. Haha! Wait, you don't get how that's cool? Okay, so watch this if you're a little bit confused. Let me break it down for you. Jennifer Connelly is the voice of Karen, right? The woman computer. Female version of Spider-Man's little robot. The computer named Jarvis in Iron Man's suit was the voice of Paul Bettany. Bettany.
All right, what do you say?
I have indeed been uploaded, sir. We're online and ready.
And in real life, Paul Bettany and Jennifer Connelly are married. So it's like the computers are married in the movie. Do you think they make little baby robots? If you enjoy the show, share the video with one friend. Help me out. Thank you for the members for supporting the channel. I appreciate it very much. Subscribe so you don't miss our next adventure and let me know what movie you want to talk about next. And remember, most importantly of all, gents and gentlets, share a smile. They are contagious.
Hey, share a smile. They're contagious. Can you imagine a day without smiling? That would be outrageous. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with Crazy Nate. Make sure to leave a thumbs up if he left you feeling